All right, welcome back, everyone. This is again Illuminum Tarot. We're coming back to you from a different angle. So, like me, being the dog I am in the Chinese zodiac, I can't seem to find a comfortable spot until I turn around a few times and plop down on the couch or the floor or wherever else I'm reading from. So, in the same tradition, I'm going to choose a different angle for this reading, and hopefully the experimentation will pay off sometime soon. Anyways, we're going to kick this off. We're reading for the watch signs finally. We're going to start off with the cardinal sign of Cancer, and then we'll proceed from there. I will be using Steampunk Tarot today. This is my favorite deck. It is indicative of the futurist and the sci-fi nerd in me, and so we're going to see how well this will read out. Thanks so much again for joining us, and as always, these are readings not to be taken as, anything other than guidance for your life. You all have free will to do things the way that you see fit in your life. Please also be aware of any kind of scammers that are, floating about on the internet that are stealing the good work that a lot of these tarot readers in the tarot community are doing. Please be mindful of that. Block, report any people that are spamming, soliciting readings for you. They are usually going to just run off with your money and probably smear your PayPal account. So, that being said, if you like what you see, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll go from there. Let's kick it off. What do we have for the sign of Cancer? And as always, cards do not want to shuffle. Let's try that again. What do we have for the sign of Cancer? Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. There we go. What do we have for the sign of Cancer? Sun, Moon, and Ascendant from May 2023. It's a bit of a struggle today, isn't it? What do we have for the sign of Cancer? Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. One more good shuffle. Okay. So Cancer, it seems that you're trying to fight me today. So we're going to see what's going on. What kind of turmoil is taking place in your life? I'm getting the number 4. That seems to be an issue of control taking place. And we're going to find out exactly what you're trying to control, or what is trying to control you. Let's kick it off. What is Cancer at the current moment? Yep, there we go. What's the challenge? What's in the recent past? What's in the near future? What is the energy underneath it all? She was at the bottom of the deck. What's at the crowning position? How does Cancer see herself now? What is the environment? What's the hopes and fears? Got 2 cards for that. Should be interesting. How do they fall out? This is a tricky one. We'll read that together. Last but not least, we've got the outcome. All right, there's a lot to unpack on this, so please bear with me. First off, we've got the spirit gauge, which is the Temperance card. So this deck is slightly different. Some of the major arcana are completely different than normal. The signs or the elements are also different. For example, submarines are the cups, of course, and so on and so on. But anyways, what we've got here is spirit gauge, which is temperance crossed by the devil. So that means that you are trying to gain a little bit of composure after a period of toxicity. The challenge right here is basically overcoming addictions, toxicity, negative thinking, stifling, and other kinds of negative influences that restrict your capability of gaining, composure in your life. And in doing so, you're trying to conquer your inner demons, I suppose that you could say this. Looking into this, in the recent past, you had the Hierophant. So either you had a marriage, or maybe you had something that you were committed to. Potentially, what was this thing? Okay, so I'm seeing here that there was something that you had, maybe a long-term relationship. And in this, there was someone that came in between the relationship. So this is the Queen of Wands. Either you were very passionate about this relationship or this commitment to something, or you had interference into your relationship from someone else. That was pretty much the side chick, the other woman, that woman over there. I'm not going to use the actual word right now in fear of YouTube. We're just trying to get off the ground, so that way we don't want to sabotage ourselves before we get too far. Anyways, with this, you had a recent commitment to something. There was interference from a person, someone who's very fiery, someone who is very passionate, and can be a bit domineering and controlling at times as well. But what we're seeing here, moving into the near future, you have the Lovers, the Explorers in this deck. And that basically indicates either a choice or a strong connection to something. And what is that? What is that connection? Okay. So it looks like you might be choosing to block someone off. You might be choosing to end things with someone, or to cut communications, sever ties with that person. So it seems to me the person from the past is now becoming blocked out of the future. And the reason for all of this is because underneath all of this, you have the High Priestess reverse. This is a secret coming out, and this is someone that is, something that is potentially damaging secret. And in the crown of all of this, you have the Knight of Cups reverse. So this is you disconnecting from someone. So what I see here is secrets being revealed about someone from the past. You also notice that there is an ending of an emotional kind. So this is kind of a disconnect of a relationship. This is a disconnect from something that you felt passionate about. So you can take it how it resonates in your own life. If you decided to leave a job, if you decided to get away from this Queen of Wands right here, which was basically someone who was a side lover, an affair of some sort, someone that you were connected to outside of your, relationship in some kind of extramarital affair, or someone that had a side chick and now you're finding out that secret about that person. Take it as it resonates, but that's what's showing up in the cards currently. Now, moving on from this, you see yourself as the Fool, and in the Fool, this is the Apprentice in this deck, which I think is kind of cool. Because it's kind of like he's looking at the Fool is actually looking at the same clock, the same timepiece that the horologer he actually creates, and he also manages. So this Fool is looking at this commitment, in my opinion, and it seems like they're now going to take a leap of faith on the time that is left for them. So I don't know why I'm getting that. I'm just saying whatever comes to my mind. But here is the teacher, here is the student, both standing on the test of time, looking at what's going to take place next for their future. And I get that they're both interlinked for some reason. Someone looking at the past of what happened in their lives and are now learning the lessons from that, and now proceeding forward with this great leap of faith to move forward. So we have Taurus energy here from the past, and you have Aquarius energy right here, or Aries, depending on what, kind of person we're talking about. So they can embody both of those energies, but it's a great, it's kind of like a leap forward into something new, whether that's learning a lesson, starting a new path in life, or particularly taking a risk on something new. So interesting there. So far, we've got on the deck, we've got Capricorn, Taurus, we've got Aquarius, Cancer. There's a little bit more, and then there's Gemini energy as well. So these could be the signs either on your end, or these are the signs from the person that you're dealing with. And those could be interlinked within the reading itself. So in your environment, we have the Seven of Swords, the Seven of Airships here in the Steampunk Tarot. But what this indicates to me is a kind of unscrupulous activity or behavior within the background of all of this. And I'm wondering exactly what kind of behavior that is. Me being a bit nosy, I'm going to go ahead and pry into this, because otherwise you wouldn't be here for a tarot reading, right? Let's see here. What's the Seven of Swords about? Come on, let's see. Okay. So it's a missed opportunity. I'm getting that someone feels like they've now missed an opportunity with someone, so they're trying to keep that a bit secret, or being a bit subversive about it. Ironically, this is in the environment, so we ask ourselves this, was this secret affair, was this thing that happened in the past, was it kind of a blessing that it didn't work out? And also, why is it that you need to keep it a secret? These are kind of two contradictory cards. Like, for example, if I miss an opportunity to see or do something, there's no point in covering it up. You just let it go. Conversely, like, if you're being strategic and underhanded with this type of Seven of Swords sneaky energy, then there's not really... It just shows that you're caring too much about it. You're doing your best to make a concerted effort that other people don't find out. So it's leading me to see that you have a person, you have an environment. It almost feels like the person in question in this reading is actually looking at their environment and doing their best to keep a secret about something that they tried to go for, but they missed an opportunity on. To me, it almost seems like they're covering up a secret. They're trying their best to put their best face forward, trying to show everything is fine. Like you see the little dog with the whole room around them burning and it just, right before his face melts, he just blurts out and everything is fine. It kind of reminds me of someone who is desperately trying to save face as the world around them burns. I don't know why I'm getting that image, but it popped into my head, so I'm just going to blurt it out anyway. So moving forward, we have in the hopes and fears section, we have the Seven of Pentacles, Seven of Leviathans here. And this card jumped out with it. So that was the Eight of Pentacles reverse. So you have someone waiting, thinking about what they're investing in, and then choosing not to invest in that thing. So either they're in a period of waiting, and they're just choosing not to put any effort towards something, or someone has stopped putting effort towards them. And so what this now indicates to me that you have kind of a period of limbo, because what comes right after that is a Seven of Cups. So there's a lot of confusion. There could be potentially a lot of options that are coming into their life, but intuitively, what I see is that the big fear is that they're going to get left behind. They're wondering, watching, waiting, whether or not they're going to be left behind in all of this. The querents right here. And this all kind of stems from one single affair, and potentially a mistake that was made in the recent past. So this is clearly love now. They're kind of reflecting over the mistake that they made in the past, trying to get grounded and stable with the Temperance card crossed by the Devil reversed. So the challenge is coming out of this toxic energy and then going back into it, being in a commitment, and then having a person on the side, which then leads to the choice to disconnect from that person or those persons, people, places, things, whatever, those things that they were, toxically linked to. We have two cards of disconnect, both from another person, which is the Knight of Cups reverse, and then also a disconnect from their intuition. And I think that that's the whole reason why all of this has happened. They have disconnected themselves from their intuition, which has, of course, led to the chaos that is unfolding in this reading. Now, again, with the two cards here, the Hierophant and the Fool, both looking at clocks. One is controlling the clock and making the clock. The other one is looking at it, determining what to do next. It is almost like that cosmic lesson that they're learning is trying to make its way to reactivate this intuitive faculty that has been shut off from toxic behaviors in the recent past. Now bringing them back to the beginning of the Fool's journey, which is, of course, now they have to start again. When you lose on a video game or something and you're playing a level and then you lose out and you have to start all the way back at the beginning. It's kind of like this person's life is starting all the way back into the Fool. And in doing so, they have to repeat the lesson. And they're going to have to repeat the lesson until they get it right. And it almost makes me think that the person in question here, this Cancer, or a person this Cancer is dealing with, is almost like they're refusing to learn the lesson. They're looking at their environment and they're saying, maybe I can just get around this and I can just kind of do my own thing. Missed opportunity. Maybe it's like they're trying to ignore it, but they can't. And so that's where this kind of surreptitious energy is starting to come from this whole reading. So imagine a person who refuses to see the truth. They'll do everything in their power to avoid it, but they can't. If I were to see the Four of Cups upright, it would be willful ignorance. It would say, I'm just going to reject this. But here, they can't. And for some inexplicable reason, I feel that this person is now looking at their environment as kind of a hostile neighborhood or environment. They have to constantly keep their ego they have to nourish their ego by making sure that they can keep up their appearances without getting caught. But it's becoming too difficult to ignore. Moving back into this with the hopes and fears, intuitively, it feels like a person who's just waiting to be left behind and say, oh, see, I knew that was going to happen. I knew that was going to be the outcome of all of this. That's their fear. But in some ways, they hope it as well, because this is in the hopes and fears position. So it almost feels to me like a form of self-sabotage. Lying in wait, waiting for the whole thing to come crashing down. No longer any effort being put in towards it. No longer any desire to continue, potentially with this person from the past. And finally, with the Seven of Cups, this is a period of confusion. We'll see what the confusion is about. Hopefully we'll gain some clarity on this. Yeah. Okay. So we have the Seven of Cups with the Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Leviathans in this deck. And now I feel like it's like, how do we have a new start? What do we do next? It's so confusing. We have this period of chaos here from the external, where we see a person involved in like a third-party relationship, whether that's a romantic or family or otherwise. Of course, take it as it resonates, because all of you are going through different situations and scenarios, and they won't all apply as a blanket statement. But what I get intuitively, the common thread between all of you is that there is confusion over a new start. So this could be a person who has to pick themselves up, and they have to move on. They have to find a new house. There is a separation, and a person having to start their life all over again. Now, potentially there could even be confusion about a new start with someone new. Even if a new person would come into their life, with all the chaos that's been left in the main part of the spread, how do you start your life anew without first resolving the past? And I think that that's something due to the environment here, where the person is refusing to acknowledge that they will have a difficult time when something new is presented in their life. So it is important that this person clears this up before they make any new starts, whether that is in the Ace of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Wands, or any of the aces, the new starts. Even with the Fool, even though we have the Fool here as to how this person sees themselves, they know they have to start their life new. But doing so is going to be a bit of a struggle if they do not resolve this fuckery right here, for lack of a better word. So whether this is you or whether this is someone you know, that person involved in this needs to clear this up, and they are advised to start sifting through this and go through the healing process, because they cannot continue this kind of calamity into the new parts of their life. So that being said, we're going to pull some cards of advice and continue from there. I knew there was some craziness happening with the Cancerians. Those cards were refusing to shuffle, and now I know why. Because someone is refusing to see the truth. Advice for Cancers. Advice for Cancers. Still fighting with the ain't you? All right, let's see here. First one out. What advice do we have for Cancer? What advice do we have for Cancer? What advice is there for Cancer? What advice have we got for Cancer? You are good enough. Full moon in Virgo. Fiery climax approaches. Full moon in Aries. Hold your vision. Fixed moon. I think I got that for another sign as well. It was one of the air signs, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember which one. Anyway, so I'm looking at this. You are good enough. First card up. Which gives me the impression that maybe someone here has some feelings of self-doubt, issues around self-worth. You know, being able to understand that they are good enough for a healthy, happy relationship, rather than seeking externalities that, you know, seem to either boost the ego or to make someone feel good about themselves. I think it's time to move away from that energy. And to be fair, I think that putting yourself into these negative situations, relating to this devil energy, which is something that you have to come out of. If you refuse to come out of that energy, or if you ignore that, it's going to make it worse. And I've seen that in personal situations, both within myself and with other people I've dealt with. You can only have the devil on your back for so long before it breaks it. And I see a person here who is refusing to stop piggybacking the devil. Maybe that will be the title of this. Who knows? Maybe it has a ring to it. It might have some weird connotation to it also. But we're going to try to get away from any imagery from Rosemary's Baby. Let's carry on. You have a fiery climax approaches. So this is a culmination of different energies. You have 2 full moon energies, which is a climactic period in one's life. It's my shit hits the fan kind of cards when you see that full moon energy. Now, with this particular one, you could say that, all of the things that took place in the past, they kind of ruptured, and now you're having to deal with the aftermath of that, whether that is through the dissolution of a relationship, falling out with family members or friends, or whatever has taken place in your life, getting laid off or fired from your work. But more importantly, it's now the person in this reading has to start taking responsibility for their actions. And I'm just really not going to bullshit you on that, because I think that that's precisely what's being advised by the cards. Hold your vision. Now, in order to hold your vision, you must be able to see first. Blindness will not be tolerated in the eyes of the divine. So if you want to hold your vision, you must first be able to have eyes to see. And I think in this particular situation, if you refuse to see the situation that you are currently undergoing, seeing the chaos and the fallout from your environment, potentially, or if your environment is creating this chaos, who knows, maybe you're dealing with an environment that is kind of like negligent and shady or dodgy, and you have to realize that before you can make the necessary steps to move forward. I don't want to place the blame on one or the other parties per se. I'm just reading the energies as I see them in the deck. Now, what you now have to do is move forward with your life with a new vision of how you want it to play out. And in order for you to do that, you must first step away from the absolute chaos that is around you. If that means taking a trip somewhere, if that means to kind of take time out, because you see how this is a fixed moon, it's a half moon right here. One side is light, one side is dark. You're going to have to integrate both your shadow side and your light side into your life now. And first, you must see the shadow in order for you to get to the light. You must first go through the darkness. I think that pretty much covers everything in this reading. Hopefully this was of help to someone, and as chaotic as it does seem here, I think there was a message that the universe did feel was worth speaking about. Anyways, this is Illuminum Tarot. Thanks again for joining, and thanks so much for watching. If you liked what you saw, please give a like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to ding the notification bell. If you'd like to also reach out for a personal reading, I'm more than happy to help. I have very competitive rates because I'm just getting everything started. Feel free to email me for one of those, or to visit the website for one of those readings and to book one. Once again, thanks for joining, and I am signing off for now. Thanks so much, and until next time, bye now.